when you drill down to it, it's about making a difference. One of the gentlemen that works in my finishing department, when they drive in a brand new car, it's better than me having a brand new car, right? That's what it's providing, jobs and these opportunities. When you come together and build something, you can see it organically grow, and it's very cool.
Well, you're building more than cabinets. I mean, you're building lives.
And right?
Economies.
Hi, I'm Denise Sabia, and together with Mike Bowman, we're your hosts for Renovation Radio. Mike and I are passionate about helping people create the home of their dreams. So if you're thinking about remodeling your home, or if you're just looking for some inspiration, we're here to help you make your dream home a reality. This is Renovation Radio.
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 We could talk to you all night, all day. This could never end. So we'll do a part two. So part two with Joe Trave. What a Village Handcrafted Cabinetry. I actually wrote it down.
Yeah, you stuttered a little bit.
Sorry. Well, I'm all over the place. It's my brain that's all over the place.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to have some burning questions?
Yes.
Well, you're over 25 years now for your company. What did you do for a 25-year anniversary? Anything special?
Actually, it's like this year. It's 2024. I started in 99. But we say the company started in 2000. You know, it was so we're going to celebrate it next year.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. What do you think we should do, Denise?
Yeah.
You're going to set up. You're going to help.
Talk.
Yeah.
I'll plan it for you.
Yeah, you'll plan it.
It'll be a surprise, just like every podcast for
Big
Mike
blow up.
Bowman.
Yeah, like parade down Main Street in Lansdale.
Maybe we might all dress like you.
Third largest employer in Lansdale.
Like we're all going to put on like a bald cap. Everyone
Well,
there
don't
will
do
be.
that.
Oh, we don't want anyone to. He's not really bald. I'm just kidding. Look at this. Look at your little baby picture. How were you that blonde?
Yeah,
What
isn't
kind
that
of
crazy?
Italian were you?
Yeah,
Back
well,
then,
so my
everybody was
father,
that blonde.
so my father's, both my parents are Abruzzes, and that's Abruzzes, right? Northern Italians. My father had red hair, and so
My daughter has red hair.
Yeah, a lot of Northern Italians are very light complected, and people don't realize that. So
Yeah, that's where I heard my daughter came from.
yeah, so my grandparents come from that region. I still haven't been to Italy, but
I would never guess though that you were a blonde-haired child.
Yeah,
I've
really,
never known
is
you
this
with
me?
hair.
Is this really me?
Yeah.
this
I
is
was
me in
trying
my
to figure out which
backyard.
picture I liked the best, and then
Yeah.
my thought.
Do you ever look back at memory? Like,
It's the best.
so many fond memories.
I love these photos.
Like I had the most amazing childhood.
See, that's how I always look at it. And
Like,
you hear these other heartbreaks. And
I
you're like,
had
oh my God.
the most loving family. My parents were the greatest people in the world.
You have four
and
sisters?
Three.
Three.
I called you my fourth because there's somebody else I've named my I called you my fifth because there's
Okay,
somebody else
someone
I
else
named my
your
fourth. But I had this amazing idyllic childhood, and I look at this picture, and it just takes me back. So this is really amazing. I'm glad you printed that.
I'm glad you sent it to me. Well, I thought that bookcase in your experience center, and I was like, this picture of you with your pencil behind your ear when you weren't even 7 there. That is not 7. That's
no.
like 4.
Do you mind if I take that?
It's for
That's
you.
for me. Excellent.
The whole thing.
Thank you.
Fresh off of Amazon.
I remember in the Halloween parade one year, I wanted to be a carpenter. And I always knew I wanted to be a carpenter. And it was funny because when I became a cabinet maker, there was this juxtaposition because my uncle was a carpenter and a union carpenter. And he said, well, cabinet makers, they don't like to be called carpenters. There was, and I'm a big Christian, so Jesus was a carpenter, and...
So it's the fight over the carpenter's pencil that's thick and the actual number 2 pencil.
Correct.
Because if you hand somebody who's a carpenter a number 2 pencil, they'll say, you're not a carpenter, and vice versa.
Absolutely. That's a great point, right? A carpenter's pencil is thick and it's got this big round point.
You can be an eighth of an inch off and cabinet makers.
An eighth heavy.
Yeah.
I used to hear when I was framing houses, they'd call 11 and an eighth heavy. So I didn't even really know what 3/16 was. Now we're just 30 seconds.
What does heavy mean? The one side of the pencil mark?
It was a 16.
Heavier side of the line.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So now, I have a mechanical pencil for God's sakes because I'm drawing. If I'm doing anything anymore, it's drawing out the detail with a cabinet maker saying, hey, I think we can do it this way, and I still love to problem solve. So as a cabinet maker, you're really or a carpenter, you're a problem solver, right? And Mike, you're still problem solving all day.
I love it.
Right?
I'm not like Micah, the production supervisor, has a much more vast knowledge of construction.
Yes.
What I have is a vast knowledge of people, problem solving, and getting shifts in emotions.
Yes. But that's so critical because
You're very good at that.
You can be an amazing, I have some amazing carpenters. That doesn't mean that they could figure out how to schedule 300 jobs, right? And get those jobs throughputed. And the person, everybody's so critical in that company because you can't do one without the other. Right. And that's what I think we're all seeing it as these companies grow. It's like I started doing everything myself, and then I had to give up control, and that was scary. Right. And then once you learn to trust, and then you learn to hold people accountable, which I'm still working at. Accountability is a challenge for me.
Holding people accountable?
Yeah.
Because you let them slide?
Yeah, because I tend to, I hold myself to a high standard. So I assume everyone does. And they might, but to a different standard that's just different, right? And that might not be in congruence with the standard that I'm setting for myself. So I have to communicate better. One of the things that I've always loved about Greg, and when we go out, he's a very good communicator of accountability and what his expectation is.
You're never worried about what Greg meant.
Never. It is crystal clear.
Exactly.
Right. So where I can, in this environment, I can talk about that, but I tend to go inward a little bit more when I'm in my own office. And I'm like, why aren't they doing it the way I want them to do it? Well, maybe because I didn't explain properly.
They can't read your mind.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to get better every day. I am
biggest management tool I've ever, I don't want to say tool, style, I always thought about was, the straight combs, hard plastic combs. As a manager, your job is to do this.
Yeah, fold those together.
Everybody has strengths and everybody has weaknesses. How do you get them all as to one, and each builds off the other? And the other thing, I have an idea for your 25th parade. Have everybody dress up what they thought they would be when they were kids.
I love
Wow.
that.
Oh.
You're going to have to find your Heckinger's
That's very
tool belt.
cool.
I love that idea.
That's a great idea, though.
Yeah, because everybody thought they were going to be this and that, and superheroes, and like I remember my mom didn't grow up with the most amount of money, but my mom made us these costumes because I wanted to be Superman. Remember underoos?
Oh, come on, Mike. Now you're speaking my language, dude. We could talk underoos all day, man.
She bought me Superman underoos.
Yes.
Blue pantyhose, and took red pantyhose on the outside of my cowboy boots.
Yes.
Where's that photo?
That was legit.
Yeah. And
you had the pantyhose on.
It was a great costume.
Yes.
And he was 6 feet
Going
tall.
to school, I'm like, I'm wearing pantyhose, but
Mike, I wanted to wear underoos everywhere. And my mom's like, Joe, that's underwear. And I was like, but no, it's
my
so
personality
cool.
screaming in this. Yeah, I'm the Hulk. The Incredible Hulk.
Hilarious.
Wow, we are the same age.
Oh my God. I really need that photo.
Yes,
See,
For your birthday. His birthday's
with
coming up.
3 older sisters, their friends would come over. And I'd think that it was cool if I walked downstairs in my underoos.
Oh my God.
So like 18-year-old girls didn't think an 8-year-old boy in underoos was cool.
It was the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
And my sisters would be like, Joe, what the hell are you doing? Get upstairs.
I love that.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. My 50-year-old wife doesn't think it's funny at 50 either. They don't understand it.
They don't understand it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, how would your wife describe you?
An extreme extrovert. Yeah. So my father used to call my mother an extreme extrovert. And I like to talk to people when I want to talk to people. When I'm in an environment like this, so my goal is to eventually sell my business and become a bartender. I want a 10 bar. I like to talk to people. I like to mix drinks. And I like interesting conversation like this today.
It's different every day.
You know what I hate? Small talk. If you want to talk about the weather or that your knee hurts, I could give two shits. We all, right? I just don't care. Right. But if you want to get in a cool conversation about underoos,
yes,
I also do like to dive deep. So we haven't dove deep, but I'm a very emotional guy. So I want to when you start talking about my daughter and that bond between a father and daughter, I get really emotional. She knows I'm a crier. So I told her new boyfriend he came over a couple weeks ago, and this is funny because he's a detective. And I said to him, hey, you see that that little hill outside of my bourbon bar? I said, you'll be buried out there if you fuck up, you screw over my daughter. And I said, but don't worry, I'll put a cross on your grave. And he goes, thanks, Mr. Trave. I'm glad,
my God.
But yeah, so when it comes to my daughter,
yeah, you told me last week. She said, Dad, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, I don't even know her, and that's so cute.
And not that I don't, so having a boy and a girl, not that I don't have that same vibe for my son. My son and I have an amazing relationship. It's just that I have this, I guess because I had 3 older sisters and my father always was tougher on me than my sisters to some extent and said, like, they could torture me, but he'd say, never.
You can't touch them back.
Never touch your sister, right? And it was always this respect for women. And I have that respect for women, and, I demand my son to have that respect, and I demand my daughter to get the respect.
That's a challenge.
Yeah,
and good. It's good that you're doing it.
It's a challenge, but I also I help her with that challenge.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm
having that conversation lately with my daughters. That you need to set boundaries. You can't have people treat you in certain ways.
No, and I'm not perfect, and I've raised my voice, and then I'll apologize and say, you know what, I was wrong. I was wrong. Like, I was being a jerk. So I'm never afraid to say I'm wrong.
Yeah, you got to, especially
same to
kids.
Same to my team. Like, I will tell anybody on my team I was wrong. Like, you know what? I get emotional. I get like bullheaded, and I'm always driving. And sometimes I might not say thank you for going the extra mile, and I feel terrible. Like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Like, I know they're giving their life every day for that company, and I appreciate that. I am so blessed with amazing people that work for us. There's a real quick story. During the Ukrainian war, we connected with a service that was connecting refugees with jobs. So we hired a couple Ukrainian refugees, and one of the gentlemen, his English wasn't great, but we started working with him, and he started learning how we build cabinets here. He was building cabinets over there. Learning going from metric to inch to imperial is tough. So that took some time, but like, he comes to me often, and like, we helped him get some furniture for his kid, get his kid some clothes and whatever. And it's not what I'm not looking for praise.
Right.
It was just that he comes and he's like, thank you for my job. Thank you for my job. My kids are happy in school. Thank you. That's why I'm doing it. He needs that job. So I got to keep going. Like, because there's days I'm like, I just want to give up. I'm done. I want to go bartend on the beach somewhere in Florida, right? And I have to keep going because
we're the 3rd generation in America, and that's why.
Interesting.
The most appreciative people of America are not Americans. They're non-Americans that have come here for the dream that we had.
Correct.
3 generations ago.
Correct.
And that's why people are still coming.
To find a hard worker.
They never stop.
Like, wow, I found a hard worker, someone who cared. That's the 1 in a million anymore.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's kind of scary.
It's very scary. But the people that really are, coming here for a better life, they are willing to work hard.
It's great here. Come on over.
Yeah, and we have a lot of immigrants in our different departments of our company, and these people make good money. They have great jobs. They're providing incomes for their family. They're paying taxes. Like, this is good for everyone. And when you see people that really are grateful for their jobs, you're just like, wow, I can't stop. I got to keep going, right? Because his family depends on it, right? How many families are dependent on hearth builders, right? 80-some families. And like, that's a
more
lot
than 80-some. That's the immediate
right.
umbrella.
Think about the
Outside of that
subcontractors.
umbrella is subcontractors.
Right. Well over 150 probably. And so that's a large burden to bear, so maybe that's why I drink a little too much bourbon sometimes. But it's important, right? We're providing jobs and a certain lifestyle for these people. I often say to my staff when we have a full company meeting, I need my job and you need your job. This is yes, I own the company, but it's a job for me. I need my income. You need your income. So like, we need to be going in the same direction. We were talking earlier about marketing, and that's why we had our marketing rollout today. We all have to be paddling in the same direction. We're all going in one direction. So we all succeed. not just Joe and Gary and Gina and Jen. Like, we all succeed, right? There's more for everyone.
There you go. Maybe for your 25th anniversary, take them on rafting. Get six of them
all
in a
rowing
boat.
in the same direction.
And if they don't
That's your
paddle
theme.
right-
Man, you have all the ideas.
That's
Oh
why
my
Greg
God.
loves me and not
Yeah.
I'm actually Greg.
Can we get Greg to pay for the whole trip?
Probably. I have a credit card. He'll never notice. He didn't say no.
He didn't say no.
He didn't say no. I didn't ask him.
We've talked for an hour and a half now, but when you drill down to it, changing people's lives is my goal. And it started out building some cool stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about making a difference because all of us are leaving the same way, right? We're all going to be in a box or,
We all end up 6 feet under.
Correct. So if we can leave a legacy and say, hey, listen, like one of the gentlemen that works in my finishing department or another kid that was a orphan and he's an installer, when they drive in a brand new car, it's better than me having a brand new car. I'm like, look at this. This guy just got a brand new truck, a $60,000 truck because of Village, right? That's what it's providing. Hearth is providing these jobs and these opportunities. And it's not about me. It's not about Greg. It's just about when you come together and build something, you can see it organically grow. And it's very cool.
Well, you're building more than cabinets. I mean, you're building lives. And
right?
Economies and...
Right. So what other questions do you have?
Okay, all right. You want to hear? I don't have my real bar. These are individual Joe Trave questions.
Oh, geez. All right, go ahead.
Okay, you already told me how your wife described you. Your typical day, you kind of alluded to. What time do you wake up in the morning?
4:40 every day.
Every day. What time do you go to bed?
About 9:40. So I hit the couch usually around 8 on the nose p.m. And I'm like dozing off by 8:15.
You have to be like, your wife is like, go upstairs.
Well, no,
She doesn't care. She's
yeah,
like,
we're
don't
both,
come up. As a matter of fact,
we're both
sleep
on the couch. Our thing was always we're a big dinner around the table. That was in an Italian house growing up. It was always dinner around the table.
Yeah.
So our kids we have dinner every night. We eat together. We talk about our day.
They're never going to move out,
Yeah, I mean, we love being together, right? And now we'd like their significant others to be around. And so everything in my house was always around food. And Italian parents, Italian family, you'd walk in my house, and if we were eating, my father would make you, get a plate, sit down. You have to eat. Mm-hmm. Everything was about eating, right? And, granted, we were all a little overweight, but that was just it.
It's a sign of a good Italian family. I was a fat kid.
So back to my, I hit the couch at 8, and by 8:15, we're both half asleep. So there's not a lot of downtime, and that's a challenge, So really, you live. I hate to say it, but you live weekend to weekend. You're going, you're grinding all week. I still work 50 to 60 hours a week every week,
and I still work on weekends. Like even if I'm down the shore, I'll open my computer and do a little bunch.
I'll check email. I really try. I'll go into the office here or there on a Saturday. Sunday,
You're a good Catholic Italian.
I'm a very...
What mass do you go to?
10. I go to mass during the week as well.
Every day?
I go... During Lent, I went almost every day. So I like routine.
8 designers, 8 engineers. You build 7 to 10 kitchens a week, which is bonkers. Mm-hmm. The one thing I can't believe we've talked this long and no one has mentioned the sawdust that you keep in a silo.
Oh, yeah. So the silo, unfortunately, has now been dismantled.
What?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you an interesting story. A year ago, it was about this week, a year ago. So we built this amazing system to collect our dust outside, transfer into a silo. From the silo, it goes into a conveyor system that burns that dust and heats the facility. So it's biomass. Yeah. Okay?
Have you ever heard of such a thing?
It's an amazing concept, except the people that designed the system, I wasn't really involved with that at the time. They really didn't properly engineer this system. So we had a massive fire about a year ago this week. No. So when you think about it, you're dealing with burning embers and highly combustible sawdust.
Oh my God.
Particles. Yeah. Sawdust in the air is one of the most combustible, volatile issues. So I don't want to get into a lot, but there's some lawsuits going on. So what we did was, I was thinking after the fire, it was contained. 4-alarm fire, right? I mean, so it's funny. We are 70,000 square foot in the heart of Lansdale. Our next door neighbor, who's a good friend of mine, is Murat Mamadov and Vlad Mamadov. They own Boardroom Spirits. They are a large distillery now in town. So they distribute all over the world. They have hundreds of thousands of gallons of alcohol, one wall away from our woodworking factory. So the fire marshal, so between the two of us, we have 125,000 square feet, whatever. He's like, we have a match and a bomb next door. Right?
Oh my God.
So we had to really rethink how we were going to do this biomass. But I needed to heat my building. The whole building is heated with sawdust or hot water. So it's hot water heat, right? You're burning wood to create hot water to circulate through the building. So I needed heat. So I thought, okay, pellets. I could create pellets. Another company in Allentown, Grote House Lumber, who you might know, they build countertops. Mm-hmm. He was doing biomass with bricks. He was creating a brick of dust and putting the bricks, they feed into a hopper So we went out and bought a pellet machine, disc pellets, not the pellets that you would use in your Traeger
pellets.
Yeah, not those, or in your Traeger. These are discs. They're made to burn. They burn much slower and much safer than volatile dust. So we disconnected the dust collection system from the burning system. There's no connection point. That was the issue, the connection point. When an auger pushed dust, and if you had a little spark anywhere along the line, right back through the system. And it could have taken a whole city block.
Right.
So the firefighters were amazing. Give it up to guys, first responders. Yeah. They fought it for about 3 hours and they got it out and we were good. So here we are a year later, we're using pellets to heat the building. So the dust that will come out of the dust collector will go into a pellet machine, create these pellets, and then we will manually feed what's called a day bin, enough pellets for the day with buckets, because I don't want a connection point.
Right.
I don't want a conveyor. I don't want an auger.
If there's a backup or any, you don't want any trail.
If the thing burns out of dust for the night and it gets cold, so be it. We're not burning the town down. Right. So
wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
How crazy would it have been you wanted to bring all these jobs to Lansdale and then burn it to the ground?
Yeah.
Like literally, we're a city block. And what's really cool, so some history, back to history. Our block is Cannon Avenue in Lansdale. Our building is from 1790. It was a cannonball factory. So there are live munitions in the basement, we've been told. Cannonballs. Wow. They were making cannonballs for the Revolutionary War. That's how cool. Like, that building is so old.
So many things.
And then in World War II, they were making airplane wings there. So it's really cool old factory. There's a lot of history really there. Cool. Yeah. So the fact that we're making some of the world's best cabinets in Lansdale, distributing them nationwide, is really cool, And that's why it's on the side of our building. It's like handcrafted in Lansdale.
Yeah, I love that. That's a T-shirt you should make, handcrafted in Lansdale. When's the last time you built something?
I built a mantle in our bedroom a couple months ago, and I was like, man, they say it's like riding a bike, but I'm out of practice.
This sucks.
You do lose it.
Yeah. And I watch my guys work, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do all this. And then I go to do it, and I'm like, oh, every cut is off. I'm cutting 17 times on a miter, and I'm like, why are my miters lining up? Man, I used to do this all day long. And then I was trimming inside my dining room. I have one of my trimmers will come and do some work in my house. But like I was trimming some windows in and out and in and out and in and out and cut. And then I'm like, because you don't want to ruin the piece, and you're like, you just keep cutting closer to the line. And and then I watch my guys, and they literally make all the notes on a pad, go out and make all the cuts, and they come in and they fit. How you do that?
That's funny.
Yeah. So I don't have the patience for it anymore. I want to just get it done, and then I get frustrated, and then I cut corners. Yeah.
It's funny because I do that, and then Kim's like, just pay somebody to do it. And that's even more of an insult because I'm like, I know how to do it.
I can do this. Like, are you kidding me?
Would you ever put together like something from IKEA?
Oh, sure.
Or
like, and I hate every second of it.
And what? What was that? And where is it? Whose house is it in?
I probably put something together like for my daughter
like
in
for
her
a dorm room or something?
Yeah.
Or,
yeah. Oh, her bed in her like college apartment.
Yeah. And you're good at that.
Yeah, I can put those things together pretty quickly. And then, like, what bothers me is, like, her boyfriend at the time was trying to help. So, and I have impact wrenches, and he's like, well, this drill is weird. I'm like, it's an impact wrench. Like it's got a clutch on it.
You're like, get out.
You know, there's just something about that relationship between a father and a daughter. I think it's that protection, right? I kind of really grasped that and my father was very protective of my sisters. And I saw that and I admired that.
Which one of your children is most like you?
It's so funny. So again, a boy and a girl, and I've been married 31 years this year. So my wife and I, we have a boy and a girl. We've been together since 16. My son is like me in some ways, and like it's like literally they're 50-50 of each of us. It's so funny
how crazy a procreation works with your DNA.
So strange. Like my daughter's really outgoing, and then Joey is into the working out at 4:30 in the morning and like going to church.
That part of you.
Like, you know, but he's like into tech like my wife, and I'm not.
So it really is a 50-50.
It's so interesting, yeah. But Bella looks just like my wife. She's beautiful and can be very nippy. You know, my wife can. Yeah, you don't.
We're married. We know.
Yeah, she can. Don't cross her. You know, like she'll come at you, and Bella will do that. She'll go at somebody, and that's good because I'm soft on some things, and my wife always had my back that way.
Does your son look like you?
I would say he's got long hair.
You're so jealous, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, and he does it all the time. Like Greg used to flip his hair,
Greg's
and I'd be like, oh my God, you in that hair flip, and now my son does it.
So funny.
So,
yeah, that's funny how it is. Well, Mike's girls, one looks exactly like his wife, and one looks exactly like him.
Genetics are so cool.
It is crazy, right? Yeah, I have I have Neapolitan. I have a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead.
Really?
It's the craziest thing.
Wow, Neapolitan. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Why do you have a thing for trash pullouts there? You weren't going to ask me a question about trash cans, were you?
No, I like to find like lists of like top 10 things they say you must have because I always disagree with it.
Like, I mean, of course, every kitchen's going to have trash and recycling.
You have to have trash.
You're going to have
so stupid.
Silverware dividers and, you know, tray dividers. Those things are just
typical.
That's like slow closed drawers now. Typical. Right? You're expecting those things.
Right.
You know,
I like to go
integrated charging stations where you would know that's cool, right? You know,
the one I like to see was the Lazy Susan that is now like the pull out,
the kidney,
the swing out because it takes that like having to climb.
We have one called the Magic Corner too, which is amazing. The challenge with some of these things is like the Magic Corner is $1,200 cost, right? So by the time that's installed, it's $1,600. These are expensive units. You know, so
there's a couple good things, but some things when they recommend it, I'm like, that is the stupidest thing ever. It's not the top 10 things. So you already talked about trash pullouts. I never even heard of the word Super Susan. Have you?
Yeah, Super Susan.
What does that
that's
mean?
not a picture of a Super Susan.
That's what I think.
No, that's a Super Susan.
That's the Super Susan.
Yeah, so like
people hate lazy Susans.
It's like we don't do it. We do very few lazy Susans any longer.
So what do you do?
They're Magic Corner, a Le Mans, which is another unit that goes into a corner. There's a lot of corner units that are not lazy Susans. We do very few lazy Susans.
Yeah, I hate lazy Susans.
Remember, you would spin a lazy Susan and everything falls over.
Right, right.
And the spice storage is really is critical. I use a lot of spices. I want to be able to, like, that style of spice unit where it pulls out is a blessing and a curse. You have to bend down to look at them. Right. I kind of like the top drawer on an angle, but then you got to have all the spices in the same jar, right? Because like Trader Joe's jar is different than Whole Foods jar. So
I like it when there's like a niche cut out, like if your stovetop is here and then you have a niche.
The most convenient.
Yes, and because when you're in the kitchen, you don't really see it. Correct. But then when you're cooking, it's pop, 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 pop. Yeah, if I had a dream kitchen, it would definitely have that. These are the toe kick ones. The drop zone. Everybody needs a drop zone.
Drop zone.
Where do you like your microwave?
We're seeing them in pantries now out of sight. Most people don't want to see it. Purely to heat up a cup of coffee or defrost something. They're not using it to cook any longer.
I hate that microwave drawer.
It's
just I'm too
so
tall.
Hard to do.
And guess what? I hate how slow it is to open and close.
In-drawer outlet. It's outlets and drawers.
Outlets and drawers are very popular.
You gotta do
hidden
that.
outlets are all over the place.
Standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
We just did some pop-up outlets in an island. So the stone, like you press down, even the stone pops up and they're right there. Little challenging because if you have a spill, it could go down in there. So you got to,
That's a good point.
We're doing a lot of outlets now on the side of islands without a plate. So we route in from behind. So there is no plate. So all you see is the decor outlet coming through. Some electricians are like, how do I do this? We explain. It's very clean. It's in our experience center if you want to see it.
I love this one. I knew this was going to be good. You have a good energy, and the hustle is one of my favorite things. Can I get a coaster as a parting gift? Oh, my God. But it's going to go in your bourbon room. I'm going to bring you a whole set. And also, I decided we are going to collaborate and make candles that smell like sawdust.
Okay.
Oh, we're on Instagram at renovation.radio. And your Village is, what's your Instagram handle?
Village_handcrafted.
On Instagram. You have a good Instagram. It's very pretty.
Yeah, we're getting very close to 10,000 followers. So
how many do you have?
We're like 9,200. So we're getting very close. So please follow us on Village_handcrafted and
it's some
and
good
you can see a lot of our work on Hearth's Instagram and.
You're going to see even more.
Yes, excellent.
We have a really good project being designed right now, and it's with Kim. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Renovation Radio. I hope you learned something new and that you're feeling inspired to start your next remodeling project. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact Hearth Builders. We're always here to help. And don't forget to subscribe to the show so you don't miss any future episodes. We've got some great topics coming up in the next few weeks we don't want you to miss.